Welcome to Fredericksburg Mission, a podcast talking all things mental health and wellness in the Burgh. Brought to you by...
How do you shorten the time it takes to buy a car? Car buying just got easier. Pohanka365.com lets you complete as much or as little of the car buying process online. Pohanka365.com. Car buying simplified. Anytime, anywhere.
Welcome to Fredericksburg Mission Podcast. My name is Angela Rivers, and I am here with licensed and board-certified massage therapist Sean Stewart. Welcome, Sean.
Hi. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's so nice to have you here.
I'm excited. This is awesome.
I'm so excited. And as a little pun, you're the first male that we've had on Fredericksburg Mission. So
That's awesome.
We're going to throw that out there.
So I gotta set the bar high, right?
You do have to set the bar high.
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
for
We
all
got
the
this.
guests to follow.
Yes, we got this.
So you are the owner of Stone Tower Massage, and you also work out of Skin and Spa Boutique.
Yes.
Yeah, and so I met you on Instagram a few years ago.
That's right.
And
on Instagram.
I feel so lucky. I mean, honestly, I'm so lucky to have found you coming from Northern Virginia and being so passionate about getting a massage once a month, twice a month, and then coming here and not finding anyone I was really keen on until I found you. And so
awesome.
I'm really thankful. I'm a big believer in everything happening for a reason. So you're
Me
just
too.
so talented. And so I'm really happy to have you on and to share with people about your specialties and how you started and all the great things you do.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was so excited that I found you too, because
Yeah.
I mean, you're just such an inspiration to the community, and
Thank you.
So it's just the feeling's mutual. So.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So what led you to want to be a massage therapist?
So, when I was younger, I was the kid who, like, if somebody was crying, like, I would do something stupid, like run into a trash can and be like, who put the trash can right here? Like, and they might have thought I was goofy or whatever, but for that split moment, like, at least they weren't, upset anymore about whatever they were upset about. But funny story, I don't know if I've ever shared this with you, but when I was younger, I was working at Burger King, and they were super busy that day. Like, I was on register, I was running like 1,000 customers, and I was just like, ah. And then one of my coworkers came down with a headache, so the management team asked if anybody knew how to do massage. Well, I didn't know the first thing about doing massage. All I knew is I wanted to get off the register. Yeah. So I waved my hand and I said, pick me, pick me. So they had me go back in the back and give her a little massage. But the funny thing is that I was able to make her headache go away. Wow. And for me, that was like my first kind of confirmation that, this is something I might want to do. But she asked me if I was that something I was interested in. And at the time, this is like early 2000s, you didn't hear much about male massage therapists. It was like a female thing. And I was like, I don't think this is the right field for me. And she was like, in that moment, she said, you have a talent. Don't let it go to waste. Follow your dreams. And, it only took 11 years, but I finally got there.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Why 11 years?
I tried going to massage school, but my parents at the time made too much money, so I couldn't get financial aid. So basically life happened, and then I had to go to work and just, work my way until I got an opportunity to go back to school. So,
well, I'm so glad you went back.
I am too. I'm glad I didn't give up, and because it's so easy. I could have just been like, it wasn't meant to be. This was my sign, but I knew this was my passion, so. Yeah. I followed it.
And you're really, I'll just keep saying this over and over today, but you are so talented.
Thank you so much.
Do you have a favorite type of massage that you do, or a favorite technique, or do you specialize in anything specifically?
Right. So I specialize in deep therapeutic massage with range of motion stretching. Most of my clients pretty much say it's like doing yoga without having to put any work into it. So I find it's most productive because it not only does it relax the muscles, but you're relaxing the joints, the ligaments, the tendons. It just covers the whole thing, so you get a deeper relaxation. So I really enjoy that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what do you think differentiates you from other massage therapists in the area?
So I guess the biggest thing is that technique that I use. I've spent 11 years doing massage. So over the 11 years, I was very fortunate in the beginning to have a client who would allow me to try things out and see what.
I want to be that client.
She would let me know, like, yeah, that really worked, or no, that wasn't, didn't really do anything for me. So I was able to like kind of fine tune my massage. So over 11 years, like the fine tuning of the massage has like gotten me to where I feel like it's the most productive and people feel the most relaxed when they come off of my table. And that's what I strive for. I always tell my clients that like anybody can do massage. I mean, it's not too hard, but like when they come to see me, like I want them to have an experience. Like I want them to come off the table and be like, wow, that was like the best massage I've ever had. Like, you're amazing. So that's just where I come from, and just try to help people feel better. Like that's my big mission, is to help people feel better.
Yeah, you've been a healer for years, since you were little.
Yep.
And so it came full circle.
It did. Totally full circle.
Yeah. And then let's talk about how massage, this podcast is a lot about mental health. And so how massage, connects with self-care. That's something that, especially during the pandemic, people are finding new ways to do self-care, or they're giving themselves the flexibility to have that moment during this really tough year.
Right.
How do you feel, like in general? How do you think that self-care is important? Like, do you think it's important? Do you think it's not important? That type of thing.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a really good question. Self-care is very, very important when it comes to like massage, because, if you think about it, the body has mind, body, soul. Our bodies always are trying to reach homeostasis. So if one of those are out of alignment or out of sync, then everything else is going to be off kilter until your body pulls you back into homeostasis. Self-care, it all starts with your mindset, right? Like, for me, like I wake up in the morning with a grateful heart. Like that's the very first thing. As soon as I open my eyes, I'm just grateful. One, for the fact that I get to be here another day. Two, just for the fact that whatever happened yesterday is a learning experience, and that I can learn from yesterday. I can't change what happened yesterday, but I can learn and I can move forward. So, in return, it gives me a grateful, heart and mindset. So that way, when I start out my day, I'm starting my day out on the right foot, and I'm starting it in a positive mindset. And I feel like self-care and positive mindset go hand in hand, especially with the pandemic. Like, there was a client who came and saw me, and I gave her a hug, and she started crying because she said that I haven't really had a hug from anybody in over a year. And it just kind of made me realize how important, like, touch and hug and everything is so vital to our self-care. And
it's true. I mean, I get a massage regularly, at least once a month. And how many months did I go without one from when we were all shut down? And it was weird the first time going back and having that touch.
Yes.
You forget how much you miss it.
Yeah, and I remember the first massage I did going back, they spent like this whole time like, don't do this, don't do that, don't, make sure you wash your hands. So that first massage back was kind of a little weird, because you're just kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm touching a body with my bare hands. But then afterwards, it's kind of like, oh, you just wash your hands like normal. And so, once I got over that first massage, it was pretty powerful to see like just how people coming back and like experiencing the touch again and being comfortable again. And it's been really great to kind of see that transformation from when the pandemic started to where we are now. So it's been really awesome.
Did your business suffer at all during this time, or were you able to keep going? I mean, how did the pandemic affect your business?
So we had to stop in early March of last year. And we ended up staying closed until May. I also do massage out of my home out in Locust Grove, as well as skin and spa. But I decided for myself to keep my home office closed until like July, until like phase 3 of the really re-entry back into society. And during that time that we were shut down, I ended up taking a part-time job just to make ends meet. But then once we got back into the swing of things, it was just kind of like everything picked back up and things just kind of kept rolling. And it was like an avalanche. Like it just started picking momentum up. And then before you know it, everyone's, coming back and they're more comfortable. So.
Yeah. And we learn a lot about ourselves during this time.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of self-care, do you have a self-care routine that you do?
Well, like I said earlier, I wake up in the morning. That's my first mind. I start with a positive mindset. And then, from there, it's just, I pray. That's, the next thing, just to kind of get myself focused. I also do this thing that I've started recently. So everyone has this thing called a happy hour. So I'm decided mine is like giving back hour. So I reach out to like randomly like 10 different people and I just wish them to have a great day. Like, just a little small something, because you never know how much that little something can affect somebody on a big level, especially when it comes to self-care, because maybe somebody needed to hear it that day or you never know. So like I try to spend an hour just connecting with people and, just reaching out and just saying, hey, thought about you today. Hope you have a great day.
Yeah. And we were chatting before this podcast about how a lot of people don't do enough self-care. They think that you have to be rich to do self-care, but there are a lot of things that people can do that don't cost money.
Right.
And so what would be, if somebody was listening today, what would be some things that maybe you would share with them that would be helpful, taking 5 minutes a day to do X, Y, and Z?
Right. So, I was like telling you, like 44% on the survey they took, 44% of people said that they think that they don't have enough time in the day for self-care. And then 35% said they don't think they have enough money to do time care or self-care. And I would say that it's not exactly true because there's things that we can do. Like we can go outside, go for a walk. We can exercise. You can hang out with a friend. You can watch your favorite movie, read your favorite book. Just anything to kind of like, I call self-care for me is like wherever it gets me my happy place. Like for me and my wife love to travel. So like anytime that we can get out and actually travel, that's, it's been hard with the pandemic traveling and stuff, but like just getting out of the hometown and actually traveling, that for me regenerates my soul. It recharges my batteries. So that's how I look at self-care. It's like anything that's going to help rejuvenate you and make you more center and make you happy. Or even like the sound of the babbling creek. Like that, just the sound of that, I'm like, okay, I'm good. Or the rain.
I love to hear the rain.
Right. I guess I'm a water baby because like any type of water, I'm just like, I'm home. Okay, I'm good.
You'd be good in my house then because I constantly have a flood. But that's a topic for another time. But yeah, I feel like, and there's a big stigma about self-care. People often say self-care is a selfish act. And I don't think it is at all. You can't give to somebody else before you take care of yourself.
Right.
And so, I'm a big preacher of self-care. And at UMFS, we preach it as well to our families, to our kids, to our staff. You got to take care of you first before you can take care of anybody else. I
agree 100%. When I was in massage school, my massage teacher, and I'll always carry this with me. She told me, she said, you can't take care of someone else if you don't take care of yourself first. And then there was a quote that I saw that really hit me, but it said, if you want to help somebody, put your oxygen mask on first.
Oh, was that during the pandemic?
No. It was just recently when I was just kind of surfing through Facebook, but I saw it and it kind of like rung true, if you want to help somebody else, like if the plane's going down, you have to put your oxygen mask on first before you can help anybody else. So
no, that's very true.
So I live by those words, just to help myself remembered. I have to take care of myself if I want to give my best to my clients, because if I'm not at my best, then my clients aren't receiving the best. So I've got to make sure I'm at my best.
Yeah, certainly. And then do you work 5 days a week, 7 days a week? What's your schedule like if somebody's listening and wants to book a massage?
So I work basically at Skin and Spa. I'm there Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and occasionally Saturdays. So I'm there, and then I'm also working at home. So I kind of I have 2 separate calendars that I have to keep, track of am I here or am I there? Am I here? Am I there? So pretty much anytime I can make work with the schedule. So
that's great to hear, because people that listen, or they might say, oh, I haven't had a massage in a long time. I hear that a lot from people, or oh, I do have that hour that I can take for me, or 30 minutes, or whatever it may be. And then what are some other misconceptions about self-care? Are there any myths or things that you've heard as you've been doing this for so many years?
I don't know. That's a good question. Any myths or anything about self-care?
I mean, people think it's a selfish act. What would be something else that you've possibly heard?
So one of the things is people don't deserve self-care, which that's not true. Maybe from some past trauma or something, maybe something bad happened to them and they feel as though
that's terrible.
I don't deserve self-care. I mean, but honestly, everyone deserves self-care. And I think self-care all starts with loving yourself. You have to love yourself, which can also lead to being the best of you, which can lead to giving the best to everyone else around you. So,
and then that positive mindset.
Right. Yeah. Having the positive mindset and, loving yourself enough to be able to go out and do the best for others.
Yeah. And so what made you want to start the day with a positive mindset? Was there, you don't hear that often. You hear people say, oh, I got to get up and I got to go to work, or oh, I got to go take the kids here. I got to do this, or, there aren't enough hours of the day. You don't always hear people being so positive. You often hear people more on the negative, and it's not all the time, but often. So what made you want to start your day like that?
So for me, I realized every day is a choice. As soon as you wake up, you have a choice. You can either start off for good or you can start off in the bad. For me, when I was younger, I guess I can tell you about my story. When I was 17, I was on my way home from work, and I was about 5 minutes from home, and I decided it would be okay to turn on the heat in my car. So that's the last thing I remember, is I turning on the heat, and I fell asleep behind the wheel, and I ended up hitting 2 trees at an estimated 75 miles an hour, because when my foot relaxed, it relaxed on the gas pedal. And when I came to, I just remember looking to my right and seeing this bright shining light, like there was someone shining a flashlight in my car. And then the next thing you know, I felt weightless, as though somebody was pulling me out of the car. And when they placed me on the ground, I stood up and there was nobody there. So it kind of shook me for a minute. I was like, what was that? So I ran to the nearest house, and it's 3 o'clock in the morning at this point, and I start knocking on these people's door, and they were like, go away, we don't know you. And I told them I wrecked my car, and they turned on the light, and they could see that my head was busted open. And
oh my gosh, how did you run like that?
I don't know. Wow. I walked away without a scratch.
Wow.
Without a scratch.
But your head was busted open?
Yeah, I had one knot from side of my head to the other side with a cut in the middle, and I had 2 black eyes. But other than that, I walked away with no broken bones, no head trauma. They did CAT scans and everything, and they didn't see any sign of concussion. I don't know how I survived. They don't even know how I got out of the car, because the motor was pushed through the passenger seat and was in the back seat.
Oh my gosh.
They don't even know how I got out of the car. But from that experience, I learned that everything happens for a reason, and that life is too short You know, because my best friend was supposed to ride home with me that night. And if he would have rode home with me, he would have been in the passenger seat. And, you know, I wouldn't be here. I'd be in Snowden or somewhere like that, because I don't think I would have been able to live with myself if something would have happened. But I try to remind myself every day that life is short, and that if you have something to say, like, you need to say it, because we're not promised tomorrow. We're not promised, you know, 5 minutes from now. So I just try to keep that positive mindset each day that, you know, this may be my last minute. So live it the best that you can, because you never know.
That's so true. You know, especially even this year, you know, who would have thought that we'd be walking around in masks, that we would be shut down, that the kids would be doing virtual school. You know, that wasn't even something I think anybody even considered.
Right.
You don't think about those things until they happen. And then you're set with the thoughts of, you know, what could have been or should have been. And you should take every single day like it's your last.
Right. And that's just what I try to remember each day. Each day when I wake up, you know, we're given another day to, you know, this could be the day that you can make a change. This is the day that you can be better, you know. So I just remind myself each day that, you know, because sometimes I do struggle with, like, thinking about, like, oh, I, like, did something yesterday, and, like, how do I move forward, right?
Yeah, we all think that.
So I just have to remind myself that, like, yeah, I might have screwed up yesterday, but today's a new day, and let's start fresh with a new day.
Yeah. So do you have, like, a positive, like, affirmation that you say to yourself, or do you just try to change your mindset when you think certain things?
So I just, when I think about it, I just remind myself, like I was saying, that, you know, today is a new day. You can't change what happened yesterday. You can learn from what happened. And life is short. So, you know, like I always try to tell my wife that I love her, like, just so she knows, like, because you never know, like,
you could walk out the door.
You never know.
Yeah.
So, I just kind of try to keep all that stuff in perspective and just kind of keep it, you know, right in the forefront of my thoughts and my mind of, like, and I think that translates to my massage too. You know, like, I keep that in the front of my mind, and, like, my clients will know that they're getting 110% each and every time I give a massage, because I want them to experience what I've experienced in my life. And, you know, I want to have some of that positive energy that I carry with me. And I want them to be able to experience and feel the positivity.
Well, I certainly do when I come in to
thank
see
you.
I had one yesterday. It was fantastic. But it is, I mean, self-care is just so important, and keeping that mindset. You know, I can feel it when you're massaging, you know, how passionate you are. You know, I've definitely had more massages than you can count, and you can certainly, this is one of the things I love. But you can certainly see your passion in how you know, every single massage it's like it's the best one. There isn't one that's like, oh, that one's better, or he didn't do that great this time. They're all exceptional, and that's super rare. So it just shows how passionate you are about healing others and being so positive.
Yeah, that's for me, it's like the biggest thing is that I want others to be able to, like, I want them to know that when they get on my table that they're going to experience pain relief, relaxation, whatever they're carrying for that hour. My hope is that for that hour they just forget about whatever it is that's on their mind, and for that 1 hour or 2 hours or however long they are with me, that during that time they can just focus on themselves and just reconnecting with themselves. And, you know, I had a client the other day that she came to see me for a massage, and she was just emotionally wrecked because she's been with her kids and she hasn't had no break, and it was her first time away without the kids and anything. So that for me was, like, important, because for that time that we were together, like, it was just, she could focus on herself. you know, she didn't have to worry about the kids. She didn't have to worry about her husband. She didn't have to worry about anything, just herself. And that's what's really awesome about massage.
Yeah, definitely. And then you sent me something the other day that you're doing now for your clients that is like a kind of a guidebook to what to do before or after a massage. So some of the things I didn't even know. So what are some of the things people should do if they're coming to see you or not do?
So one of the things on the forefront is probably not to eat a heavy meal before you come get a massage, just because like
you might fall asleep.
Well, you might fall asleep, but like if you had a full stomach, it might be a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's true. So no Thanksgiving dinner before you come.
Yeah, no, don't eat the Thanksgiving. Well, then you might fall asleep because of all the turkey and the tryptophan. But make sure you're hydrated. That's really important, to drink lots of water before and after the massage, especially after, because you want to all the toxins that are released into your body. You want to make sure we flush all those toxins out. And to know that like during the massage, there might be some stretching that we do just to kind of help loosen everything up and be the most productive that we can be. Just simple things like that. And it's so this is crazy, but some people like tell me that they're afraid to fall asleep during a massage. Not afraid to fall asleep, but
you might not wake them up afterwards, or they might fall off the table. Or you do hear those things.
They say that they don't want to miss out on the massage, or they're afraid to. But
you do have to wake them up in the middle of turnover, though.
Right. Yeah. But I can tell them that like that's probably like one of the biggest compliments that you can give a massage therapist, is because that way we know that you're fully relaxed and that you're that comfortable that you're able to fall asleep during a massage. So that's one thing. Have you ever had
anyone snoring during the massage?
Yep.
So then you really know that they're enjoying it.
And it's funny, but like when you hit like certain areas that might be tight and then you know that they were asleep, like the snoring will change.
Really?
Based on like
that is interesting.
It wasn't. I didn't even realize it would do that.
Really? Until you happened.
It happened, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
So what type of? You said you went to school. So what type of training? Because it's you're licensed and board certified. So what does that entail? I don't hear a lot of massage therapists being both. Do you have to be? I mean, what is?
So it used to be that you were nationally certified.
Okay.
Which basically meant that if you were nationally certified, you can work anywhere in the U.S. But several years ago, they switched it to board certification. So basically, a board certification is the highest certification you can get in massage. And it just means that you're held to the highest of standards when it comes to massage. And I'm also state licensed through the state. So there's CEUs that I have to do every 2 years for the state, and then every 4 years for my board certification. But to have both just kind of lets my clients know that I'm taking my job seriously and that I want to, really take it to the highest level. So
yeah, and then your motto is of your Stone Tower massage. It's to heal, defend,
protect.
And protect? Okay, I was right.
Yeah.
And how does that, how did you come up with that? Just based on all the things, mind, body, soul, that type of thing?
So me and my wife, we love the show Outlander.
Okay.
It's the greatest show ever. So when we were coming up with the name for my business, we wanted to kind of have that Scottish feel. Mm-hmm. So when I thought about that, I thought about a castle, and the first line of defense of a castle is the tower, because you have a person that's up at the top and he can see for miles, if the enemy's coming, if there's any danger coming. So that's where my motto comes from. I want to be your first line of defense when it comes to your body. I want to heal your body from injury. I want to defend your body by helping to raise your immunity so that you can help fight off stuff. Mm-hmm. And I want to protect your body by getting maintenance massage. So once a month coming in, getting your scheduled massage, and then all in all coming together and just being one big protection, Wow. So all in all, heal, defend, and protect. So that way you can live your best life and that you're not dealing with the, struggles of stress and pain and, so you can live your best life.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And then for maintenance, you mentioned, what is the standard maintenance if people were to come in? Do you recommend them coming in every month? Every other month? Is it different for different people?
So yeah, it depends. It depends on like if you're having something that's causing you a lot of pain, it may not be something we can fix in one session. So sometimes we'll have to go like, I'll see you in 2 weeks and then 4 weeks. And then, the goal is that I want to see the clients at least once a month. Honestly, I'd rather not see them, because if that means I'm seeing them on a consistent, regular basis, like more than once a month, that means that I'm not doing my job and they're not living their best life, because they're still in pain or they're still not where they need to be. So my goal is to get you at least once a month. So if I have to see you more than twice a month, then something, I'm not doing my job, or we're not hitting the right spots. So that's my goal, is at least once a month.
Yeah. And then if somebody is listening today and they are struggling, to find time for self-care or an option for self-care, what would you tell them? Like, do you have an inspiring quote or phrase that you would say, make time now, or,
I would say that you have to love yourself.
So at the end of every podcast, I ask my guest a special question. Obviously, this podcast is sponsored by Pohanka Digital Network and also UMFS. And so at UMFS, we praise our families, our staff, our children as being unwavering champions. So how are you an unwavering champion in the community?
So when I think about the word champion, I look at a champion as a warrior and a fighter. Someone that each and every day gives their all, like heart and soul, every single day. And even when they've reached their goal, they still keep fighting each and every single day. So I would say that, like, for me, that's how I envision myself as a champion in the community, by each and every day giving my all, heart and soul, every massage giving 110%. Because my end goal is I want to make sure that my client is stress-free, pain-free, experience relaxation. That's my biggest itch in life, is that I want to make sure that people are taken care of.
Yeah, and you certainly do that.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So for anyone listening, let's just reiterate where somebody could find you if they're interested in getting a massage.
So the biggest place that I send people is my Facebook page. So you can go to facebook.com/SDSLMT.
And I will also, when I post it on social media, I'll also drop it. But for people listening without the visual.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you.
That works. Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you, Sean. It was so nice to have you here. I really, really appreciate it. And just taking a minute just to de-stress here with you as we talked. I definitely felt a little self-care just having you around. So I appreciate it.
And I appreciate you having me on. Thank you so much.
Of course, certainly. This is Angela Rivers with Fredericksburg Mission. See you next time. Thank you for joining us. I'm Angela Rivers with Fredericksburg Mission. Tune in at Apple Podcast, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to your podcast. Join us again next week for our next episode.
How do you shorten the time it takes to buy a car? Car buying just got easier. Pohanka365.com lets you complete as much or as little of the car buying process online. Pohanka365.com. Car buying simplified. Anytime, anywhere.